You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Looking forward to today's Friday review as always, but today is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be a really fun show. This is where I step back a little bit, and a lot of the topics this week have actually been listener generated. That means that we've gotten requests, whether it's on social media or Ask Cabral or any of the house calls, of people writing in and say, are you doing this? Or what are you doing? What do you do personally? So what I want to do is just kind of peel back the curtain a little bit, give you some insight on essentially things that I can't live without, that I'm using right now in my life that have everything to do with the mindset, the motivation. You know, I do a lot of health practitioner mentoring, my wellness clients, my weight loss clients, obviously nutrition, exercise are a big part of my lifestyle as well. Kind of switching modes from the go, 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 fight or flight, which of course I'm in as well when I have a really, really busy day that's going for many hours at a time. How I switch that off. So I'm looking forward to bringing you these things. I really am, because they run the gambit. It's not just all health. It's not just all fitness, and it's just not all mindset motivation. There's some things in there too that I think health practitioners or anybody who's kind of maybe running their own business will get a lot out of. So I've been looking forward to the show, and it's just kind of an accumulation of a lot of things that I use every day. So keep in mind, you know, there's lots of stuff that I have, right? Like there's all sorts of different things that I use on a daily basis. But if I have a small backpack, this is what I'm traveling with, and literally there are things that I use every single day. So for example, when I wake up in the morning and essentially before I go to bed, I plan out my day. Like I literally plan out my day that next day, and it always corresponds with the week, the month, what I'm trying to accomplish. And I have days dedicated to my, let's call it creative work, where I'm writing my next book or my next newsletter article. And then at the same time, I have podcasting days as well, and I have video shoots, and then I have media interviews. And then some days, like a Wednesday, is just wake up, and from sunup to literally sundown, I'm just speaking with people over Skype for wellness consultations, body transformation, anti-aging, and I'm also doing that, on Friday. So I have all these different days scheduled out. And what I use, believe me, I've gone through all sorts of different iterations for planners, and it's just tough because no real planner has ever had what I wanted, and they get beat up, and then I don't end up using it. So I'm just looking at my iCal. But what I did is there's an amazing planner called the Productive Action Planner by Ethic. And what I'm going to do is just go to stephencabral.com/630. Okay, stephencabral.com/630. Because I'm not going to be able to name all these products correctly. I'm not good at that. I'm good at using them, not necessarily naming exactly the website and all that. So just go there today, and I'll absolutely link up everything that I use specifically. This is a beautiful planner. There's a black one. There's also a faux leather one. And it's the very first planner that I've used, and I just started using this about 1 quarter ago, that really has everything I need. So the creator of this is Dave Ruel, amazing guy, amazing speaker, and amazing business mind. When I looked at this planner, I looked at it and I honestly said, I don't need another planner. I'm most likely not going to use this because it's cumbersome, it's this, and this. Except I found out that he's the same type of advocate as I am of looking at your year as essentially 12-week years. And I've spoken about this in the past. So what Dave does actually, this planner is used for 1 quarter, which is perfect because that's how I live my life. I don't like to live my life more than 90 days into the future. There's so much that goes on. The world happens so fast. And I believe you can accomplish so much in 12 weeks that actually your life will be different in 12 weeks. So no real sense. Yes, I look at the whole year, but no real sense kind of looking or digging in too deep beyond that. So what Dave has in this book is that you actually get to plan your quarter, your next 12 weeks, which essentially is 3 months. And then after that, you get to break it down into months. Okay, so there's 3 months. Then after that, you get to break it down into weekly goals because that's what matters. Like I've spoken about this so many times on the Cabral Concept, on Motivation and Mindset Mondays, on all sorts of different shows. It's basically looking at, okay, in the next 12 weeks, I want to lose 24 pounds. I like to make math easy for myself on the podcast. Okay, here's the goal, 2 pounds per week. Could be more, could be less, but at the end of the month, I want you to lose 8 pounds. By the end of those 3 months, I want you to lose 24 pounds. So that's your goal. And then in your planner, you can say, okay, well, here's what I need to do for my meals. Here's my workout days. And then, of course, for the rest of your life, because this is a true planner, meaning like it plans out your day as well. So I really like that Dave actually, he gives you a bunch of instruction for about the first 20 pages. And then after that, it's just all like meat and potatoes, I guess is the best way to say it. So again, you're looking at your annual, you're putting that in the quarterly buckets, 3 separate months. And then after that, you're breaking down your most important goals. Like, okay, so for example, if you're looking to lose weight, well, you're going to focus on maybe you do, a 21-day detox. Then after that, you get into your morning smoothie. And at the same time, you're doing Monday, Tuesdays on, Wednesday off, Thursday, Fridays on, and then try to stay active on the weekend. Like that could be your plan. And then you're actually checking those off to make sure you're hitting those milestones. So I love that there's a whole monthly calendar in the book. There's actually 3 months, obviously, it's completely blank. And I like to set up my travel as well. So I have to travel quite a bit. I get to speak. I get to meet amazing people. So I love that. And then there's a place for notes. So yes, I write down my daily plan in there. There's also idea boxes where I get to put in all my little rambling thoughts that go through my head. I like to put them down right on paper and then schedule my day and just make sure that I'm tackling the most, Dave always says, what are the 3 wins that you have to get done this week that'll make it a good week? I love that. Not 100, just 3. And then, what makes it a good day? Well, for me, it's like I get right up and I start working for 90 minutes on me, on what I need to do for myself. And it could be a project, it could be my book, could be anything, but that's me. And then I feel fulfilled no matter, even if someone else gets the rest or everyone else gets the rest of my day, I feel good. And then I want to be able to leave at 6 o'clock and I want to be able to go home and I want to be able to see my girls and I want to be able to have dinner with them and give them a bath and read to them. And so that's all part of my plan. And again, I could go on and on about this planner, but what I want you to do is I think Dave has videos up there as well. So I'm simply going to link it up at stephencabral.com/630. That's one thing. I can't live without a planner. I also love to carry around, like if I'm out for meetings, I literally write down on an index card my day from upon waking, hour by hour through the day to when I finish. And I love the satisfaction of literally being able to cross them off, cross it off. And yes, it's redundant. It's redundant from the planner, but the planner is big picture thinking. And that's so important. It's actually more important than the minor stuff, like the micro versus the macro. Well, you need to get the macro right before you do the micro. But I love having that list and crossing off because it's a sense of accomplishment. Like I'm doing something with my day, but also I'm staying on track. So when people say, how do you do this, this, and this? I just say, I just follow the list. Take my brain out of it and I follow the list. So that's one of my favorites. I know I'm talking a lot. I want to make sure I get through a lot today. One of my second favorites that literally I can't live without, that I listen to definitely every afternoon, or I should say right around lunchtime. So I consider myself to have 2 days. There's the first half of the day until about noon. And then there's the second half of the day from like 1:30 or so to 5:30 or so. And then at 5:30, basically answering emails that come in for a half hour. So I have 2 full days. And if I look at it, well, yeah, it's like a big 12-hour day essentially, but it's not all work, meaning like there's some me time in there as well. And again, like I love what I do. So it's always an ideal day. I get to do what I love. So I'm very fortunate in that way. So, but during lunch, when I stop, as I need to just take my stress levels down. It's the most important thing I can do for my long-term health, because if I have an Achilles heel, it's that my body, from many different reasons, from when I got sick many years ago, and then just from the genotype standpoint, being a predominantly Vata-based type, is that I will burn out. And my body gives me hints, and yes, I do listen to them now, but it's been a lot of trial and error, but I have to calm down that central nervous system. So I put on this thing called binaural beats. Some of you know what binaural beats are. Those of you who don't, they can be life-changing. I absolutely love them. They are my anchor. And anchor is basically something that when you put it on, you immediately start to move into that state because it's something that you're used to. Like a smell can be an anchor for people to times in their past that they've really enjoyed, or a certain song like that anchors you to something good or bad. So what binaural beats are is actually, I'm going to make this as simple as possible, because honestly, this is a complex subject. And I'm certainly not like a physicist in this area, but I do know the founder of this way back in the early 1800s, Heinrich Dove, actually created it, and it works best with headphones. It can be done without, but it really needs headphones, because what you want music or frequency in one ear of a different hertz than the other ear. So for example, if the 2 frequencies, let's say 100 hertz is coming in one ear and then 110 hertz is coming in the other, your brain will actually stabilize it at about 105. It'll kind of meet in the middle. And it's the act of this. So that's actually the third beat is called the binaural beat. So you have two different beats coming in, one from the left ear, one from the right ear. And what your brain hears or it's reading is the in-between frequency. And this is actually amazing for brainwave entrainment. This was studied actually in the 70s at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City by a biophysicist. I believe it was Dr. Oster, but I see if my memory serves me correctly. And it was basically this effect called the frequency response. And what happens is your brain starts to get into this meditative state without you really trying. And for those of you who don't know it, of course, meditation is just this deep state of relaxation. And that's really what it is. It's going inward. And our brain essentially has 5 different waves. There's probably more, but we've really studied, meaning our industrialized society has studied 5 main brain waves. And the beta is the one that we're typically in. That's typically high beta, the go, 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 and the normal waking consciousness. But what we're looking to do is we're looking to get more into the alpha or alpha theta state. And that's that deep, deep relaxation. It's almost right before falling asleep. That's where the theta is at. But the alpha is just deep relaxation. It's going into the subconscious. It's a great place for visualization, that alpha theta. I just get into a happier state. I really do. I start to see things in a different light when I'm stressed out, or let's just say I'm working on a project that's just stressful. I put this on. Immediately I put it on. I'll tell you about the one that I have. And that allows me then to get into this alpha theta state of just more deeper relaxation. I won't get into it too much, but when you're sleeping, you're getting down into the delta state. And then when you're really amped up, high level, maybe flow state is what they're calling it, that's called the gamma state. So what we're really worried about is going down from beta. We want to go down to an alpha, maybe alpha theta. And they actually have certain hertz, which is just these speed cycles, I call them speed cycles, frequencies that are moving as sound waves or vibrations through our head or through our brain. So I use a program that I absolutely love. I've tried so many. I really have. I geek out on all this stuff. I love a company called Whole Tones. I just think they're amazing. I really do. I don't know the founder. I'd probably like to interview him. Maybe I will interview him soon. I don't do a lot of interviews in the Cabral concept, but this is something that I just love. There's 7 CDs. I actually bought it when they were CDs, but I know now that you can download them. Really inexpensive too. I forget. I don't know. I don't want to give out the price, but it's because I don't know it exactly. It's very inexpensive. These things are amazing. You can literally download them today and start listening to them at lunch probably, right? Or later tonight. And I will do them before bed as well. I'll do the lower hertz. So the lower hertz, more calming. One of my favorites, without a doubt, I really do love them all, but one of my favorites is called Transformation. It's 528 hertz. I also love Key of David. That's 444 hertz. Keep in mind, there's no talking during these. They're all just nature sounds and certain vibration-based sounds. It's beautiful, calm, relaxing music. That's all I can say. It's just amazing. I listen to these on airplanes. So all of this is my travel as well, meaning I travel with my planner that I'm talking about. I have my Whole Tones on, actually in Dropbox, which I'll talk about right after this on my iPhone. And yeah, amazing, amazing stuff. Love listening to Whole Tones. And again, they have so much. They also have bedtime ones. They have lullaby ones. But the ones I use are the original Whole Tone set. It's 7 total MP3s. Or it is the CDs if you want to go old school like I did. So those 2 are a must. What else? I talked about the index card. The other thing too is I'm going to give you a few other things that I do. I use my iPhone 7 Plus for everything. It's my supercomputer. It's my phone. We have, for all my videos, which we're going to be doing tons of video in 2018, so definitely stay tuned for that. We have this beautiful Canon camera. It's the 5D or 7D if you're into cameras. We have the Sennheiser wireless mics. It's funny. We use the iPhone 7 Plus with the 4K video now for almost everything with a ring light for videos. That's it. And if I'm on the road, then I just use that. That's literally it. And then I pop in the microphone and we're good to go. And literally I write on that. I take notes on that. I can look up, let's just say one of my private concierge clients has a question. I can pull their labs up right on my phone. I can view it. I can give them real-time answers to it. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, it's a supercomputer in my pocket and I like to travel light. So the iPhone 7 Plus allows me to see things larger screen, obviously shoot video. It has the best camera. It's amazing. And then, of course, I will also bring this small little Mac laptop that I have. That's where I'll do a lot of my writing and I'll do quick stuff. But I try to stay off my laptop. I really do. And that's because a lot of what I do is just kind of in meetings or consultations, all of those things. And then again, when I'm on planes, I'm not usually pulling up my laptop in these cramped seats. So that's what I'm doing with that. And then I always have the Apple wired headset. And the reason I do that is I was using the wireless ones for a while, but again, after the research I did for my upcoming book, I really can't recommend wireless headphones. I think they're fantastic, but they also need to be charged, which is a pain for me. So the EMFs, I just don't want them. I don't want it that close to my brain. I've seen the research. I've seen what it's done, especially with kids. And the other thing too is I'm always carrying, meaning like I have my wireless case that I can pop on anytime my iPhone gets low, because I usually burn through at least one charge a day. So I'm big on that. What are some other things? Well, people ask me all the time, what do you use to record a podcast? How do you record podcasts while you're away? Well, I went from a much more elaborate setup that I got from my mentor and just found it was easier to simply carry around what's called a Zoom recorder. So I'll hook this up in the show notes today. Just go to stephencabral.com/530. It's a Zoom handy recorder H4n. Now, you don't have to use this if you're not doing a podcast. You might want to just record just your words and then have someone translate it into an article. Or you might want to just voice record how you're feeling or your thoughts. It could be like an audio journal. So that's pretty cool. And then the other thing I hook into this recorder, even though you can record just with a recorder, I actually attach something called Heil PR40 microphone. It's an amazing microphone. It makes my raspy voice at times sound pretty good, kind of clean. And again, I also have a podcast editor, but you can actually just do this yourself and put it right up as well, which I have done, in a pinch. There are those times. So that's really simple. I will put both of those in the show notes. They're so small. That's why I travel with them. It's hilarious because I have to take them out every time I go to the airport. Everyone thinks I'm a karaoke singer. They say, oh, we've got a karaoke singer here. And I just say, yeah, I'm a karaoke singer. I was like, believe me, if you've ever heard me sing, the last thing going through your mind right now is that this man is a karaoke singer, because that for sure is not my forte, nor will it ever be, because I don't plan on working on that. All right, a few other things that people joke around about my videos and other things as well is that I'm always wearing a white button-down shirt. Yes, that is one of those things I can't live without. Why white? Well, the thing is, I'm giving you this little tip because so many people get caught up with all these decisions they need to make during the day. And one of the things that I've learned from a lot of these top executives that I work with, or that I've worked with on their their wellness plan or their lifestyle medicine-based approach, is that they take out as many thought processes during the day. Meaning that they don't ever have to plan their lunch. They don't have to plan their dinner. They don't have to plan what they wear. Everything's just done for them so they can concentrate on the big things. And I can't recommend that enough to you. We have so much paralysis by analysis. So I used to have all these different plaid shirts and different colored shirts and stripes and all that. And I was just like, this one goes with this pants. And I'm not into any of that. You probably maybe have surmised that by now. I just clean, just white. Okay, so I just bought a ton of white shirts and that's wear. And that takes all the thought process out of it. Oh, okay, I'm wearing another white shirt. Yes, I am. It's easy. I can just pack those. They're good to go. And it's simple. But the reason I mention that is because of bandwidth and space in your brain. The less decisions you can make during the day, the better quality decisions you'll make for the ones that you have to make. So again, picking an outfit is obviously not a big deal. And it's not a big deal for me. Now, though, I can just choose from a literally blue, gray, tan pair of pants. Doesn't really matter. And I just grab a white shirt out of my closet. Nothing to think about. Put on my belt, shoes, and I'm out the door. I want things to be quick, and I want to focus on what really matters. Wearing an outfit doesn't really matter. So that's where I'm at. And the last thing I'm always with. So again, simple outfit, plan day, planner. I've got my whole tones. I've got my iPhone, which is essentially my supercomputer. And then I always have a book with me. I'm always reading at least one book, usually two books at the same time. They won't be on the same exact topic because I don't like to confuse my brain in that way. But one will be on maybe psychology and one will be on, let's just say, a specific form of health. So there's always a package from Amazon coming to my house, for some type of book, literally every day. It's like a joke. And the reason is that I'm always interested. I'm just always interested in learning. I'm always interested in the best planner. I'm always interested in whole tones and binaural beats. I'm always interested in the latest gadgets and things like that so I can just work on my own productivity. And that's what I'm trying to share with you. And, I get a lot out of this myself, meaning last Friday, I spoke about some Ayurvedic books. I believe it was last Friday. And if not, then I will look that up in the show notes as well. But yes, I believe it was episode 616. So maybe it was 2 Fridays ago. The time flies. It really does. So what I talked about was looking up additional information on Ayurvedic medicine because there's so many health practitioners and people out there who say how did you learn this? How can I learn more about it? Well, I say Ayurvedic is it's not an article. You can't read about an article. You need to go in depth. But if you're willing to go in depth, it's one of the most rewarding things that you could ever learn in your life. And it's not something that needs to be mastered in 2 months or 6 months or a year. It won't even be mastered in 6 years, but you don't have to worry about that because I'm still growing myself and it's phenomenal. And I know that from the highest of the high, they say the same thing. So when I was looking up those books to link them up for you on Amazon, I actually found that Vasant Lad, who again was my mentor's mentor, meaning like he's at the very top, okay? My mentor wrote his textbooks for him, volume 1 and volume 2, but she didn't write volume 3. And I just found out there's a volume 3. So right away, the same day I purchased it. And that is the book literally sitting in my desk right now. It's a textbook for Ayurveda and it's volume 3. And it is a big, huge book, maybe like 700 pages. And I can't wait to really dive into that because I've been really waiting for the right time to find the newest thing on Ayurveda that I wanted to get into because if you saw my library, you'd see that I have shelves upon shelves of Ayurvedic text. And this is one that I can't wait to get into. So those are some of my favorite things. Those are non-compromises for me. And if I have a backpack on an airplane, I'm going to have my binaural beats. I'm going to have my iPhone with my little notes app so I can make my notes. I can start writing on it. I can reply to people. I have my Dropbox on there. I have my planner. I've got my, of course, my white button downs ready to go. I've got my microphone and recorder, and I always have a book with me, so I'm always learning. I keep the main thing, meaning like I know my family comes first. I know my education and my own knowledge really comes second because that's what fuels my passion. When I learn something, I want to share it with you, and I really believe that that's kind of where I'm moving more in the future is just trying to teach as much as I can because it's what I love, and I really do appreciate your listen today, and I appreciate each and every time you decide to share this show. So thank you so much for tuning into another Friday review, and I'll be back tomorrow answering all of our community's questions on our weekend house calls. Take care. I want to sincerely thank you for your support of this podcast. I couldn't do it without you, and I mean that. I truly do. I also want to make sure you knew that we now have multiple ways for you to find your answers to the most difficult health, wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging questions. You can find podcast-specific topics like thyroid, adrenal, hormones, sleep, digestion, Ayurveda, and many more at stephencabral.com/podcasts that will then link you to your favorite Apple, Spotify, and other podcast players. Plus, all new podcasts and weekly exclusive video content is being added to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Stephen Cabral. And that's Stephen with a PH. Head on over and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the exclusive content. Lastly, if you've ever found any of my podcasts or books to be helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a review on iTunes or your favorite media player for the podcast. Rating and subscribing to the YouTube and podcast allow me to reach more and more people and help spread my mission of healing throughout the world. Thank you again for being a part of this movement.